Hi, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, we're going to learn the one or more player game Scooby-Doo Escape from the Haunted Mansion, designed by Jay Cormier, Sen-Fung Lim, and Cami Mendel, and published by the app, who helped sponsor this video. The gang has got themselves stuck in another haunted mansion, and now you've got to help them get out. But do you have what it takes? And by that I mean, did you pack enough Scooby snacks? Well, there's only one way to find out. Join me at the table and let's learn how to play. To set up, hand out these narrative books between as many different players as possible. And if you have fewer than 5 players, some will end up with 2 or more books, which is perfectly fine. If you have more than 5 players, feel free to just pass the books around throughout the game to give everyone a chance to use them at different times. Nearby, I also set the stack of map tiles face down and this deck of clue cards. Both have numbers on their backs, and you'll keep them in numerical order, but otherwise do not examine any of them until you're told to. You'll also find a stack of secret envelopes. Don't look inside them, but keep them nearby. And finally, place the character standees nearby for use later as well. And that's the setup. Scooby-Doo Escape from the Haunted Mansion is part of a series called Coded Chronicles. You can check out theop.games for more titles in the series and follow them for additional adventures to be released in the future. But in this game, you'll be working with the other players to solve a mystery and help the heroes of the story escape a haunted mansion. Once the game tells you that you've escaped, you win. The important thing to understand is that no one player will control a particular character, and there aren't turns for players to take either. Instead, you'll all work together as a group and decide what you want a character to do next, and then you do it. I should also mention, this game is full of secrets and mysteries that will only be revealed as you play. Now, to explain the game, I will have to show you some of these, but don't worry, they're going to be things you discover at the very beginning of the game anyway. Otherwise, this will be completely spoiler-free. So let's begin by pulling out Fred's narrative book. These books contain several numbered passages, and you should only look at the passages as you're instructed to. And to begin the game, you're told in the rulebook to turn to passage 5000 in Fred's book. That labeled passage is right here on the very first page, so we'll ignore everything else over on this side. Passages you're told to read should be read out loud so everyone can hear them. And this particular one explains how the entire Scooby-Doo gang ended up in a mansion that's apparently haunted by a ghost. And while they were in the foyer of the mansion, there was a crash of thunder, the lights went out, and when they came back on, Velma found herself alone in the room with the doors all locked. Some passages, like this one, will give you instructions in bold that you then have to resolve. For example, here it says to place map 1 on the table. This means you find that numbered tile in this stack, flip it over, and set it in the middle of the play area. It then says to add Velma to the foyer, which is this tile, so we'll put her standee anywhere in here. And once you've finished reading and completing any of the passage's instructions, you then close that book. Until you're told to add a character to the map, they're not in the game. So right now the players can only control Velma. And what can we do with her? Well, let's take a look. Each character has an ability listed on their standee. Research, eat, use, smell, and investigate. At the start of the game, we only have Velma, so all we can do is research. And the only place we can do that right now is in the foyer. Map tiles will show a variety of different numbers, and these represent things that you can interact with. Ignore any numbers with just 2 digits for now. We'll see how those work in a moment. But any with 3 digits you can interact with by putting a character's standee so that its number lines up with the beginning of the number to create a new 4-digit number. In this case, 1401. Each narrative book shows you the range of numbers it contains, so open the related book to that number and read just that passage out loud. If you find an instruction with the passage that tells you to reveal a card, you find that related card in the deck, remove it, and reveal it to all the players. Here we see the inside of the armoire. The number at the top reminds us that we're looking at the contents of this object, and its purple border tells us that this is something that's located in a room and must stay there. We can't pick this armoire up and take it with us, but we can investigate it further. I'm going to research these dumbbells, and that means I turn to passage 1601, and after reading it, it tells me to reveal card number 46, which I take from the deck, and then show to all the players. Cards with a blue border like this one are item cards, and these are carried around with the characters throughout the adventure until the game tells you to get rid of them. So now we have some dumbbells, but I'm also going to research the coat, which tells me to go to passage 1501. And here, I'm told that Velma shakes the musty coat and something falls out of its pockets, revealing card 34, which is a key. Items aren't held by any one character, so once you have more characters that are in play, you can assume that all of them have access to any items you've found. Items can be used to help you solve puzzles in the game. For example, the story told us we were locked in this room. Maybe we can use an item to open this door. When you see something with just 2 digits, it means you need to have a character use an item on it. The first number in the new sequence will be the number on your standee, then the item that you want to use, and then the 2-digit number. So let's try to bash this door down with the weights. That would give us 1, 2, 1, 1. However, the passage here tells us that Velma is having trouble lifting the weights and can't bash the door down with it. Now sometimes when you're trying to do something, you'll be told, as we are here, to eat a Scooby snack. You'll find these on the back of the rulebook and you'd mark one off. And the more you mark off during the game, the more your final score may be affected. I should point out, when using an item, you can also stick the item number at the back of the 4-digit sequence, but you must always use the character number first. So I could have started with Velma and her 1, and then gone straight to the 2-digit number, 1, 1, and ended with 2. When looking up a passage in a book, you must also check the room name underneath of it. If that name does not match the name of the room you're currently in, you must mark off a Scooby snack. You also mark off a Scooby snack anytime you create a number that does not exist in the book at all. So if we'd come up with the number 1105, that isn't in the book, and we'd mark off a snack. Now sometimes you might be having trouble with a puzzle. For example, clearly I'm having trouble getting out of this room. Thankfully, you can get some hints. Just go to the back of the rulebook, find this table, and locate the room that you're stuck in this case, the foyer. Then in the related narrative book, look up the code in the leftmost column. If that doesn't solve your problem, check the next hint in that row, and then keep going until you have found the solution to your puzzle. But keep in mind, there can be several puzzles within the same room, so make sure you check these in order from left to right so you don't accidentally spoil a future puzzle that you don't actually need help with. Also, anytime you read a hint from a space that's yellow, you have to scratch off a Scooby snack. Now, if you ever run out of Scooby snacks to cross off, you can still look up hints. And if the instructions ever tell you to scratch off a Scooby snack and you have none left, well, you can just ignore that instruction. And believe it or not, no, I don't actually need a hint to get out of this room. I have another idea besides just throwing a weight at the door. Let's take a look. How about I have Velma use the key on the door, giving us 1, 1, 1, 1. Reading that passage, sure enough, it opens the door, and we're told to attach map tile 2 to the north of the foyer. And it also says here that we should remove card 34 from play. We can just return this to the box as we won't be able to use it again. You can freely move characters between any rooms that are connected by unlocked doors. So we could move Velma from here to here, but we can't go into this bathroom as there is no connecting door. We'll have to find another way to get in here, perhaps by eventually figuring out a way to open this door. As you play, you'll encounter new puzzles, and hopefully you'll find some of the other characters, allowing you to use their abilities and look up passages from their books. Now, sometimes a passage will tell you to open up a secret envelope. If so, find it and empty its contents, which then might be able to help you solve other puzzles. Now, the game itself is broken into 2 chapters, and the end of the first chapter can be a good place to just pause and then return to the game in a future session. Or, of course, you can just keep playing if you want to. But at the end of the first chapter, it will also tell you how to play the second chapter when you're ready. Once you've escaped the Haunted Mansion and completed the game, you then use the chart here towards the back of the rulebook to assess how well you did, based on whether or not you solved the mystery of the mansion and how many Scooby snacks you have remaining. Though I should point out, if you have 0 snacks remaining, you also get your score from this final row. When the game is over, you can reset everything using the link I'll put in the description of this video that will take you to the publisher's website, where it provides details on how the contents of the secret envelopes should be put back together. Though keep in mind, each time you play, the story and results will remain the same. And that's everything you need to know to play Scooby-Doo Escape from the Haunted Mansion. If you have any questions at all about anything you saw here, feel free to put them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. You'll also find forums for discussion, pictures, other videos, and lots more over on the games page at Board Game Geek, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and clicking that little bell icon so you get notification anytime we post a new video. But until next time, thanks for watching.